Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Pierre Rehov is a French-Israeli journalist, author, and documentary filmmaker, recognized for his in-depth investigations into terrorism, anti-Semitism, and Middle East geopolitics. He lives in Ashdod in Israel, about 20 kilometers from Gaza. His new bestseller in France is La Riposte, October 7th, La Riposte, The Response, that he wrote with French TV producer and journalist Stéphane Simon. Obviously talking about the Hamas attack dealing with the Hamas attack of October 7th. Pleased to have him back on the show to provide some first-person accounts of what's happening in the Middle East and where he lives. Pierre Rehov, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, you're in Ashdod now?
Yeah. I'm in Ashdod, which is, as you said, 20 kilometers roughly north of Gaza Strip, which is 15 miles north of Gaza Strip. And we had another delicate, should I say, night, because we received alerts, sirens at 1 in the morning, then at 6:50 in the morning. Thankfully, as far as we are concerned, Ashdod is a small city, so it's not a target for Iranian missiles, because, as you already know, Iranians, this regime is targeting civilian areas, and they want as many Jews killed as possible. And we are, about 35 miles south of Tel Aviv. So that puts us in a situation which is a little more, I would not use the word comfortable, but, more safer than it would be in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv. Although it's not an easy situation, even though I've been living now for 14 years in Israel, so I got kind of used to it. Unfortunate.
But we did see earlier this week that a majority Muslim neighborhood had been hit by Iranian missiles, and the suggestion was that quite possible the Iranians did this purposefully to try to engender. They're happy to use people as human shields. They're happy to use people as means to their political ends. And this was a way to try to inflame opposition to Israel.
I'm sorry, it's not exactly that. The thing is, Iranians want, Iranians, let's talk about the regime, okay, not the people of Iran, who are the first to suffer. It's a terrible kind of Nazi type of regime. The Ayatollah and the Iranian regime, they want dead Jews. And when they launch a missile, they launch it towards the cities. It's not precise it's not super precise. So it's going to hit Haifa. Around Haifa, there's some Arab towns which are part of Israel. In some cases, last week, on the first or second day, we actually hit Ramallah. But you have to understand, Israel is a very, very small, it's a tiny country. It's the size of Maine. And when you hit someplace, there are very many chances you're going to hit somewhere else.
Yeah.
The thing is, if Iran had the atom bomb, they would happily launch the atom bomb on Tel Aviv. And they would not care whatsoever for all the Palestinians living around Israel, who would also die as long as they can destroy Israel and kill the Jews. It's not geopolitical. It's not political. It's religious. It's very deep within a certain side of Islam to hate the Jews because they refuse the prediction or whatever you want to call it. They refuse to kill Muhammad and the prophet of Islam, and therefore they were considered as traitors. It's something really historical, and it's enshrined in among specific kind of people. Among them, obviously, the people who were put together. The Muslim Brotherhood, from which Hamas is the armed branch, and obviously the Iranian regime. All those fanatics have in mind that they're messy. They believe also they don't believe in Jesus or the Jewish Mashiach. They believe in their own Mashiach, which is called the Mahdi. And they believe that the Mahdi will not come on earth until Muslims have exterminated the Jewish people. The goal is to exterminate the Jewish people, like Hitler had in mind. And in this specific case, they cannot stand the very idea that Jews would have a small country in the Middle East. So it's not about, we're going to defend the Palestinians, something bad is happening to them. No, they wouldn't care less about the Palestinians as long as they can destroy Israel.
Well, they're also chanting death to America. I mean, and that's about religion as well.
Yeah, it is about religion as well, because America is they hate on earth. It's a free country, democracy. Women are equal to men. Women are free to go wherever they want, to dance, to sing. I mean, for them, it's kind of a hell. You have to understand the way those people live in reality or in their mind. They live in the 7th century. And the 7th century was the century of glory for them, because you see, when Muhammad conducted all the jihad and conquested most of the Middle East and, converted by force Jews and Christians and all that. America is the opposite of that. America has never been an imperialist country. It's a country that takes care about itself and wants to promote democracy all around the world. So that's a nightmare for Iranians. And they became deaf to America, because imagine an American regime in Iran would be the end of them.
So going back to the Iranian missile strike. So that strike of the hospital in southern Israel, you think that was collateral damage or that was targeted?
Oh, it's targeted.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely targeted.
Yeah.
And we were, there was a miracle, because I don't know if you know, but the director of the hospital, the day before, decided to evacuate one of the floors. He had a kind of instinct, he had a vision. And he just evacuated the second floor of the hospital, which is exactly where the missile hit, which means that about 200 wounded people or sick people were evacuated down to the basement of all the places of the hospital. And 200 people minimum were saved this way, minimum. And it's amazing what happened.
No, it is. And what's going on there, too, I understand, first of all, there are 700,000 Americans or dual citizens there. There's evacuations ongoing, as I understand it, caravanning people out of Israel and so forth. And I wonder, and there's a shelter-in-place order at the U.S. Embassy, which tells you something about the situation. But since you're relatively close to Gaza and you have this obviously first-person understanding of the area and the region, how would you describe the situation there and where you think this is leading in the short term?
On the short term, it's hard to say. On the long term, nobody wants the Ayatollah to be in charge of Iran anymore. On the long term, no matter what, Iran will not have the atom bomb. Listen to President Trump. He said it 20 times. He wants Iran to capitulate. He doesn't want ceasefire or anything like that. And the boss is President Trump. Israel is doing a great job, but again, Israel is a very small country, and if we didn't have President Trump with us right now, it would be a much more difficult situation. I cannot even nightmare of having Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris or any Democrat in charge of the free world as it is today. It would be almost the end of Israel. Israel would be attacked from every side, and nobody would do anything about it.
What happened? You're 20 kilometers from Gaza, so it's like being an inner ring suburb of Chicago here. What happens to Gaza when the dust settles here, and whatever can be done to eradicate Hamas has been done, and this campaign against the Iranian nuclear program has subsided, what is that region going to look like, do you think?
About 80% of Gaza has been destroyed down to the ground. It's impossible for people to live in Gaza at this point. You have 2.2 million Arabs living in Gaza who pretend to be Palestinians, but that's another story. And those people, I mean, they have no place to live. They are right now living, most of them, in camps. And the horrible thing is that those people represent a problem to Israel. So for political reasons, you have a lot of countries and a lot of parties, France among them, wanting those people to remain where they are. Don't let the Gazans go away. And the border between Egypt and Gaza is much, much more closed than the border between Gaza and Israel. This is where this is where the Gazans would like to go. Go south, go to Egypt, and from Egypt go just anywhere else in the world. And Egypt doesn't let that happen. They don't want the Arabs to flee from Gaza because it continues to be a problem for Israel, and they want this problem to exist for Israel. So millions of people are suffering not because of Israel, even though Israel is doing the job of trying to get rid of Hamas. And don't forget, they voted for Hamas. Gazans are like the Germans during World War II. They cannot say, oh, well, we're sorry, Hamas is not us. Yeah, it's you. It's you because you voted for Hamas. And on October 7, 2023, 85% of Palestinians everywhere, West Bank, the Samaria, or Gaza, they were in favor of what Hamas did. So you can after that say, well, we're sorry, it's not us. Yes, it's you. There were more pro-Hamas Arabs living in Gaza than they were pro-Hitler Germans living in Germany. So, yeah, there is one way to solve the problem, which is what the Allies did during World War II, just bomb them until they surrender. They don't want to surrender, continue to bomb. The problem we have is that there are still 54 hostages. 21 of them may still be alive, and that's a real problem because these are innocent people who have been kidnapped and taken hostage in the Gaza tunnels. And it's not been possible until now to free them. So I think Israel moved to another strategy. Instead of trying to get rid of Hamas in Gaza, we have to scare the main problem, which is not even Iran. The main problem is Qatar. Qatar is is really destroying a lot of things around the world with their money. They are using thousands of billions of dollars for their soft power. We saw what they did in American universities. You saw all the problems they caused over there. They are also corrupted a lot of politicians around the planet. And they also, host the main leaders of Gaza, and they have been hosting them forever. So Qatar has a very ambiguous double game. And at this point, until now, they were very close to Iran. But if they see that Iran is going away, if they see that the regime is dying, Qatar is a very small country with only 200,000 people and about 1 million slaves working for them. And those 200,000 people are fanatics as much as the Iranians, but they know how to handle a double game, and they are all Muslim Brotherhood. This is one thing to understand. So Hamas is part of Qatar. It's part of the Mother Brotherhood, and it's Qatar that will decide whether or not the hostages will be freed and sent back to Israel. If they see that Iran is going away, they might be scared, and the next step might be good news for us.
Wow. Is humanitarian aid, food, water, medicine getting into Gaza?
Well, yesterday, 85 trucks went into Gaza. Mm-hmm. The thing is, and the reason why Israel stopped the humanitarian aid to Gaza is because more than half of it was stolen by Hamas and sold on the black market. And this money was helping Hamas to recruit more soldiers. As we were killing, they were recruiting more. Sorry for my accent, that you have to suffer. This is the main reason why Israel stopped the humanitarian help in order to weaken the Hamas. Now that Americans and Israel together organize a different way of distributing humanitarian aid, the Gazans are very, very happy. A good friend of mine, Colonel Kent, was yesterday in Gaza with the Israeli army, and he went to one of these points, and he told me it's amazing. Those poor Arabs come to the distribution point, which is secured by Israel and by the American army, and I mean not by the by American contractors, sorry, and they are saying, "Long life Trump, good, long life Israel," and those are the people who are supposed to be our enemies, but they are actually. They are becoming slowly and surely the enemies of their own leaders that they put in power. They are not very well educated people. They go where the wind blows, So right now, the humanitarian aid is increasing. They are receiving all they need. And there's never been people really suffering of not having food in Gaza. It's a complete lie. And you know who is responsible for the lie? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. United Nations is a very corrupted organization. Thankfully, the U.S. are withdrawing from many, many parts of it. As they withdrew, they are not financing the UNRWA anymore. UNRWA is the United Nations Work and Relief for Palestine, and this organization has been polluted by Hamas for decades. A lot of people supposedly working for the United Nations within Gaza are actually working for Hamas. Even some of them even took part in the October 7th massacre. So, of course, the United Nations is spreading all those lies about famine in Gaza because they want to continue being in charge of the distribution of humanitarian aid.
Yeah.
And they know very well that Hamas is stealing most of it, but they also want Hamas to keep in charge. That's a problem.
Yeah, well, that's the Washington, D.C. political press corps here is corrupt like the UN, too, complicit in what you're describing in terms of the propaganda that is distributed. Pierre Rehov is a French-Israeli novelist, journalist, documentary filmmaker. His new bestseller in France, October 7th, The Response, or La Riposte. Also, he directed recently the documentary film Pogroms, which details the atrocities of October 7th and their aftermath. That is now streaming on Apple TV and Tubi. More information available at pogroms.info. Pierre Rehov, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Can you afford not to have effective video surveillance? Is your outdoor inventory at risk? Theft and vandalism can hit your bottom line hard. Stop these events before they happen. Monitor your business 24/7 with alarm detection systems. We prevent crime with live operators watching video alerts, ensuring your assets and employees are secure. It's not worth the liability when you can effectively